pledge, then lead us in the pledge. Right? Just stay right here. You'll come up here and I say, hey, Specialist Hamlin, come up here and lead us in the pledge. You'll come up here, use the flag, just start saying, all join in. Okay. And then after that, I'll say, Specialist Hamlin, stay right there. We'll come down here and sing proclamation. Okay? You don't want to back. Good evening and welcome to the City of Roswell Mayor and City Council meeting of Monday, December 8th, 2025. I am Mayor Kurt Wilson. I'd like to introduce my colleagues and council members present. Councilmember Sarah Beeson, Councilmember Christine Hall, Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Lee Hills is in Auburn this evening, Councilmember David Johnson, Councilmember William Mortland, and Councilmember Alan Sells. This time, I'll now turn the meeting over to our Chief Administrative Officer and City Administrator, Mr. Randy Knighton, to explain how the meeting is run. Mr. Knighton.
Thank you, Mayor Wilson, and good evening, everyone. In accordance with Section Chapter 3.70 of the City Code, the City Council shall hold regular formal public meetings. The purpose of City Council meetings are for the public to participate and speak on agenda items which constitute a formal decision by the elected body. These items are listed on the published agenda, which can be accessed via the city website prior to the meeting. This is a public meeting, and some items do require a formal public hearing. An important component of city council meetings are to hear directly from residents on items listed on the agenda. Residents are at the top of the organizational chart for the city of Roswell. Therefore, public comments or questions are essential for mayor and council to consider as they contemplate each decision. If you are a resident and wish to speak on an agenda item, we ask that you please fill out a comment card and hand it to one of the staff members at the back. We have several staff members at the back who can take your comment cards, who will be provided to the city clerk, and those cards will be called in the order that they are received on that particular agenda item. Also, on tonight's agenda is an opportunity for Roswell businesses to speak. A period of 10 minutes in its entirety has been allotted for any Roswell business, a person to speak this evening. And if you have a Roswell business and wish to speak, we do ask that you fill out a comment card, include the business name and address, and provide that to one of our staff members as well. Speakers will be called in the order cards are received. Excuse me. We ask that everyone observe the principles of mutual respect and display the appropriate demeanor during the course of the meeting this evening, which should be and is reflective of this great community. We ask that attention is given to the person speaking. If it is necessary to have an independent conversation, we ask that you exit the rear doors to the vestibule area. And we ask that everyone would silence any electronic devices at this time. The mayor is the presiding officer and will ensure the orderly exchange of comments, questions, and thoughts leading to discussion and decisions by the elected body. We encourage everyone in attendance and the viewing audience to visit the city website for information on news, events, and other meetings. We also encourage you to participate in the various activities and offerings in the city of Roswell, which can be found at roswell365.com. There are a number of events upcoming in the city of Roswell which promote leisure, physical activity, excuse me, as we all make Roswell the #1 family community in America. Mayor Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Knight, and as always, well done, sir. At this time, I have the great privilege of asking Steve Green, elder from Roswell Church of Christ, to the front for our moment of silence and our invocation. Welcome, Steve.
I would offer my greeting to Mayor. Thank you for being council members, all of those of the city of Roswell for being here, of course, the staff as well. I am honored to be before you and to be able to lead our minds in prayer. I'm reminded of a verse also in the Bible. In 1 John chapter 5 and verse 14 and 15, it says, "This is the confidence which we have before him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us in whatever we ask, we know that we have the request which we have asked from him." With that in mind, let's humble ourselves now before God. Let's approach him in prayer. Bow with me, please. Our Father in heaven, we come to you, acknowledging you as God, as Jesus, Savior of the world. We come to you, Father, with love, with thankfulness, and with humility. We thank you, Father, for the gift of this day, for the blessings of life and freedom, and for the opportunity to live and serve within this community. Your word teaches, Father, every good thing and every perfect thing is from above, and we acknowledge you as the source of every blessing we enjoy. We ask for your guidance upon the leaders gathered here tonight. Grant them with wisdom as they deliberate, and discernment as they decide, and integrity in every action they take in serving the good people of Roswell. Your word calls us to do justice, to love kindness, to walk humbly with our God. May these principles guide every decision made in this room. Help them to seek what is right rather than what is easy, and to serve not for personal gain or recognition, but for the true good of those they represent. Father, we pray that this meeting would be conducted in a spirit of love, peace, patience, and mutual respect. Let every word be thoughtful, every difference handled with kindness, every decision shaped by honesty and fairness. Guard the hearts and the minds of all of those who participate here tonight. We lift up the people of this city, Father, every home, every family, every child, every elderly person, the orphans of this city, the widows, those who are lonely, those who may be struggling physically or mentally with their health, those who are hurting, those who are struggling financially and trying, Father, to make ends meet. Lift up every individual, Father, for you know their needs. We pray, Father, that you will help them, with them, and comfort them. We pray for peace in our neighborhoods, safety in our streets, stability in the community, and a spirit and a commitment to love our neighbors. Please strengthen those who are weary, comfort those who are hurting, give encouragement to those who feel burdened by a difficult and cruel world. Help us to be mindful of one another and to treat our neighbors with love and compassion and with dignity. We're especially thankful for all who serve day in and day out for the well-being of others, those in public safety, our first responders who risk their lives to keep us safe and help us in times of need and danger. For those who educate and give special attention to our children, please bless them. For the healthcare community, we are thankful for them, and they help us in our times of need as well. Pray, Father, that you would bless them. Your word encourages us to pray for those in authority, so that we may lead a tranquil and a quiet life in all godliness and dignity. Please protect these servants, strengthen them, and bless their efforts to carry out their duties and responsibilities. Above all, Father, we pray that our community would be guided by truth, would be shaped by justice, and known for kindness. We recognize unless you guide our efforts, our labor is in vain. For unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Help us to be a people who seek peace, who value what is good, and who strive to do what is right in your sight. We thank you, Father, for hearing our prayer. We thank you, Father, for being patient and long-suffering with us, and your continued blessings upon this city and its people. We now place this meeting into your care, trusting your wisdom and your providence far above our own. We ask this in the name of your Son and our Savior, Jesus the Christ.
Amen. Thank you, Steve. Steve Green, elder from Roswell Church of Christ. Thank you very much. I have the great privilege of asking United States Army Personnel Specialist Jeff Hamlin to come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Jeff. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Personnel Specialist Hamlin, if you would just stay right where you were, please, sir, to stay up for the first item under the mayor's report, which is a proclamation of the esteemed Veteran of Roswell Award. And council, if you'll join me as well. And everybody else can sit down. A lot going. Oh, there's a lot of cash. Cachet. Everybody wants to see you. They do. Proclamation, Office of the Mayor. E5 Personnel Specialist Jeff C. Hamlin, esteemed veteran of Roswell. Whereas the city of Roswell is proud to honor the brave men and women who have served in the armed forces of the United States, demonstrating unwavering courage, sacrifice, and commitment to the preservation of our freedoms. Whereas Jeff C. Hamlin answered the call to serve his nation at the age of 22, shortly after graduating from Emory University, choosing to enlist in the United States Army in September of 1968 knowing he was likely to be drafted. Whereas following basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia, he attended advanced infantry training at Fort McClellan, Alabama, where his leadership and aptitude quickly became evident. After only 40 days in training, he was assigned to serve as a personnel specialist, eventually attaining the rank of E5 and entrusted with the responsibility of reviewing morning reports from units across the installation. And whereas honoring his commitment to serve wherever needed, Jeff C. Hamlin accepted deployment to Vietnam, departing on his birthday, January 7th, 1970, and was assigned to the 37th Signal Battalion, 1st Brigade in Da Nang, near the border of North Vietnam. He carried out his duties in a high-risk environment adjacent to the military airfield, where incoming rockets frequently targeted aircraft and personnel. On at least one occasion, a close-range explosion violently shook the building, a stark reminder of the dangers faced daily by all who served in the region. Whereas during his tour, he earned opportunities for short periods of rest and recuperation, spending time both in Taipei and Sydney before completing his service. After 1 year, 11 months, and 11 days of honorable active duty, he received an early release to begin law school at the University of Georgia, exemplifying his continued pursuit of excellence that marked his military and civilian life. And whereas following his service, Jeff C. Hamlin has remained an engaged and valued member of the Roswell community, contributing to the civic life and strength of our city and embodying the character, humility, and quiet leadership that defines our nation's veterans. And whereas the mayor and citizens of Roswell express their profound gratitude to Jeff C. Hamlin for his distinguished service to the United States and for his ongoing contributions to our community. Now, therefore, I, Curtin Wilson, Mayor of the City of Roswell, Georgia, do hereby name E5 Personnel Specialist Jeff C. Hamlin, an esteemed veteran of Roswell, and call upon all our citizens to recognize his outstanding service to our country and to our community, and that there is no higher calling than those who serve the United States Armed Forces. Congratulations, Jeff. All right, here comes the fun part, Jeff. Yeah. You get the microphone. Yeah.
Well, I only encountered one disaster when a deuce and a half driven by a drunk GI ran into the side of my building. I thought it was a rocket that hit the building. The whole building shook. I drove under my desk. But it was a silly war when you think 90% of what you buy at the junk stores these days is made in Vietnam. I wish somebody could have thought a better solution to that, but they didn't. So, but I'm proud to be an American.
Don't go anywhere. Your pictures. We got another one. Thank you, Hamlin family. Thank you, Mr. Hamlin. Well, next on the mayor's report is a proclamation for the esteemed Roswell Public Safety Employee Award to Roswell Police Department Sergeant Omar Brake as 2024 Supervisor of the Year. Omar, will you come forward and join us, please? And also Chief Conroy. Proclamation, Office of the Mayor. Roswell Police 2024 Supervisor of the Year, Sergeant Omar S. Brake. Whereas esteemed Roswell Public Safety employee Roswell Police Sergeant Omar Brake has been named as the Police Supervisor of the Year for 2024. And whereas Sergeant Brake has been employed with the Roswell Police Department since 2018, he worked in the Uniform Patrol Division for 3.5 years as a patrol officer before becoming a field training officer. In 2022, he became a detective in the Special Investigations Section Crime Suppression Unit, where he focused on street crimes, narcotics, and warrant services. And whereas Sergeant Brake has received several recognitions, citing his willingness to assist with uniform patrol calls while assigned to criminal investigations. He consistently volunteers for extra duty assignments. And whereas in 2024, Omar Brake was promoted to sergeant and assigned to the Uniform Patrol Division, where he has been instrumental in fostering a positive environment among his squad. He provides positive feedback, encourages productivity, and balances both with invaluable coaching. His team as a whole has a positive attitude and is consistently motivated to exceed expectations. And whereas in addition to his regular duties, Sergeant Brake volunteers for extra duty assignments, covers other squads, responds to calls for service while working extra jobs, and picks up transports to take the load off of his officers. Sergeant Brake is passionate about teamwork and loves serving with the Roswell Police Department. Sergeant Brake is the assistant team leader for the North Fulton SWAT Tech Recon and one of only 2 officers certified to operate the Roswell Mobile Incident Command Vehicle. Whereas Sergeant Brake earned his nomination for 2024 Supervisor of the Year by his peers, recognizing that he had been instrumental in fostering a positive environment among the Uniform Patrol Division C Squad. Now, therefore, I, Curtin Wilson, Mayor of the City of Roswell, Georgia, do hereby recognize and honor Sergeant Omar S. Brake for his outstanding service and call upon all of our employees and citizens to recognize his outstanding service and unwavering commitment to the City of Roswell, Georgia. Congratulations, Omar.
Oh, you got to do this to me? Oh, man. It's honestly my honor to serve the citizens of Roswell. I love this department, and all I can say, thank y'all.
So Sergeant Brake epitomizes what it is to be a Roswell police officer and has excelled as a sergeant. As I frequently say, being a sergeant in the police department is the hardest job in the department. He does a great job, comes to work, great attitude, smile on his face, always ready to help out. I will say he's not always been that prepared.
Oh, God, here it comes.
I think he learned a lesson from his academy when he showed up to work without uniform pants.
Wrong size.
Had to borrow a pair of pants. The only pair available was women's pants, 3 sizes too small, but somehow he still passed inspection that day.
I did.
So, but it hasn't happened since. So, But congratulations, thanks for all you do. Many of his team members are here, as well as his detective coworkers from when he worked in CID. That just shows you how much the department cares about you. Thanks, congratulations, well deserved.
You stay right there. Right. No, don't sit. You stand up straight. Powerful. All right. Okay. Oh, thank you. I gotta actually go up and then come down. Yeah, I gotta go up and come back down. Yep. Okay, that's right. Next on the mayor's report is the reappointment of Carol Williams to the Planning Commission. Does council have any comments or questions on this reappointment? Being that there are none, is anyone in the council would like to make a motion to approve this reappointment? Motion is made by Councilmember Alan Sells. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Christine Hall. All in favor of the reappointment of Carol Williams to the Planning Commission, please do so by raising your hands. All those opposed, please do so by raising your hands. Let the vote record show that the vote is 4-1, and that the motion passes, and that Carol Williams is reappointed to the Planning Commission. Congratulations, Carol. And Ms. Williams, would you please come forward to read the oath of office? And I will join you right there. All right, so Carol, if you will do me a favor, raise your right hand and place your left hand on the Bible and repeat the oath of office after me. I, Carol Williams,
I, Carol Williams,
solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
support the Constitution of the United
and of the state of Georgia,
States of Georgia.
and that I will in all respects
I will, in all respects,
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter,
and ordinances of the city of Roswell,
ordinances of the City of Roswell.
and I will well
and
truly perform the duties of the office
perform the duties of the office
of Roswell Planning Commission,
of Roswell Planning Commission.
and that I will, to the utmost of my skill
That I will, to the utmost of my skill,
and ability,
ability,
endeavor to promote the interest
endeavor to promote the interest,
and property of said city
property of said city,
without fear,
without fear,
favor, or affection.
favor, or affection.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Carol.
Appreciate that.
All right, now we'll open up the meeting, I think, for 10 minutes for comments specifically from Roswell businesses that might have a challenge with a business or something they want to recommend to the council. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell business owners who would like to speak?
We have one speaker, Janet Russell.
Thank you so much. Welcome, Janet Russell.
Janet Russell, I own J.H. Russell Travel Planning since 1981 here in Roswell. I'm here to speak because I think your intentions were really good about having business owners speak at council meetings, but I think you've goofed up. You're giving more privileges to business owners than you are to regular residents.
Ms. Russell, is this in relation directly to any needs that you might have for your business? Because that's really kind of the intent. It's not a commentary. It's really
I
meant-
understand.
Yes, ma'am. So if this is in relation directly to something that the city council you'd like to concern.
I'm going to give you a recommendation,
That would be
if you'll
awesome.
let me finish.
Yes, ma'am. That'd be great.
I recommend that you give the privileges to the business owners that the residents have to speak only on agenda items, not just to get up and get 5 minutes to get free advertising. I could advertise on here, and that would be speaking about my business. I'm just letting you know that your intent was good. This is the comment, but the recommendation is to revise what you have done to allow business owners to speak on agenda items with the same rights and privileges that the residents have.
Ms. Russell, that's already been done.
Not tonight.
It's on the last two meetings. Yes, ma'am. It's been, the businesses have been allowed to speak just like a
No,
resident.
you're missing them. You're not getting what I'm saying. I can, as a business owner or any other business owner, they can get up and talk about what they want. But as a resident, I can only get up and speak to this council about a specific agenda item.
That's not the intent. The intent is for a business to come up and specifically address any items related to their business. That's what the 10 minutes is about. It's not an open mic for businesses.
Well, but you're giving them an open mic, because I was at the last meeting 2 weeks ago, and people talked about how they've got their products at REI and they're doing this. It was free advertising.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Russell. I appreciate your comments very much. Thank you. Do we have any other Roswell businesses, Nancy?
Public speakers for this item.
Thank you so much, Nancy, and thank you, Janet, for your comments. We sure appreciate that. Let's see. I think that is it for the business section. Last on the mayor's report is the Roswell results update, and that update will be presented by Councilmember Christine. Sir, you're doing it tonight, Christine? Okay. By Councilmember Christine Hall and Councilmember Sarah Beeson, forgive me, Sarah, while a presentation is shown on the screen. It's all yours, ladies.
Thank you, Mayor. As we move deeper into the holiday season, Roswell is filled with festive events for residents and families to enjoy. We hope everyone can take part in the joy and the community spirit across our city this month. On December 12th, we'll host the annual Candy Cane Flashlight Hunt, a nighttime adventure that has become a beloved tradition for families with young children. Also on December 12th, the Roswell Cultural Arts Center will present its annual performance of The Nutcracker, bringing this holiday classic to life on our local stage.
The holiday lineup continues at the Cultural Arts Center with the Atlanta Vocal Project on December 20th, featuring award-winning harmonies and seasonal music. And on December 21st, world-class trumpeter Joe Granson returns with his holiday performance. Joe takes audiences on a musical journey with his signature trumpet sound. He visits us several times a year, and his concerts are always a highlight of the season. Also on December 21st, families can enjoy Santa on the Square at Town Square Center, a festive outdoor gathering perfect for photos, treats, and holiday cheer.
We also want to encourage residents to support local artists at the Works in Clay Holiday Show and Sale, located at the Art Center West, featuring 80 local artists. It's a wonderful opportunity to shop local and find unique handcrafted gifts. The sale runs through December 13th. Our ongoing attractions include Chris Kindle Market at Bullock Hall, now open through December 23rd, offering European-style decor, artisan vendors, holiday treats, and a warm, festive atmosphere. And Deck the Square, which illuminates Town Square through January 2nd. And on December 18th, we invite families to the Hanukkah celebration at the heart of Roswell Park. Drop in and enjoy a family-friendly evening with traditional Hanukkah foods, hot drinks, the lighting of a 9-foot-tall menorah, and a gelt drop from the Roswell fire truck. It is a wonderful way to celebrate community during the holiday season. For full details on all holiday events, including times, tickets, shuttle information, weather updates, please visit roswell365.com.
We'd also like to highlight the achievements of two of our local high school football programs. Both Fellowship Christian School and Roswell High School advanced to the state semifinals this season. Fellowship played this past Friday, and Roswell High will compete this Friday, December 11th. We congratulate both teams on their exceptional seasons. Go Paladins and go Hornets.
We're proud of the excellence shown.
Yeah, you can clap. You clap. Yeah, they earned it.
We're proud of the excellence shown by our student athletes, and that same spirit of community involvement extends to our city planning efforts. With that in mind, we'd like to invite residents to join us for an upcoming public information on a key public safety project. We'd like to invite residents to attend the public information meeting for Fire Station 27 on Tuesday, December 10th. Is that Tuesday or Wednesday?
Wednesday.
On Wednesday, December 10th at 6 p.m. at East Roswell Park, and that's at 9000 Fouts Road. This is an opportunity for residents to learn more about the project.
Our holiday food drive in partnership with North Fulton Community Charities continues for a few more days. Donation bins are located across the city. We encourage residents to contribute non-perishable items to help support families in need during this holiday season. Those locations include all of our parks and rec locations. For example, the RAP building, Waller Park building. If you're going there for Hembry Park for basketball practice, be sure to bring non-perishable goods.
And a reminder for Roswell businesses, beginning December 20th, the city's new permitting and licensing hub will be online for 2026 business license renewals. To get started, update your contact information at roswellgov.com on the contact form, and you will receive an email to create an account.
Roswell's expanding recreation opportunities, the construction of 6 new outdoor pickleball courts at the Crabapple Center. These courts will replace 2 aging tennis courts and will double the city's outdoor pickleball capacity. The project is supported by the 2022 bond program, with construction expected to be completed by spring 2026.
And Liberty Square Park improvements. The city is also moving forward with redevelopments at Liberty Square Park, following the approval of the construction contract and project budget at the November 24th meeting. The project total is $1.93 million. Fully funded by the INO-DIC grant, a statewide ARPA-funded program focused on improving infrastructure in communities disproportionately impacted by the pandemic. Planned improvements included pavilion, restrooms, playground features, stormwater enhancements, parking, and more. Construction is scheduled to begin in early 2026.
We also want to share that the city will be launching a new website later this week. Our current website is nearly 10 years old, and while it has served the community well, it no longer meets today's standards for usability, especially on mobile devices. The new site, designed to be mobile-friendly, easier to navigate, and organized around services residents use most often. This redesign improves accessibility, reduces number of steps needed to complete tasks, and better reflects the city's commitment to service excellence. We encourage residents to explore the new site once it goes live.
And we always appreciate our residents' continued engagement and hope to see you at many of our upcoming events.
Thank you for joining us for this month's Roswell Results. We look forward to sharing continued progress throughout the city. And also, point of personal privilege, happy 6th birthday, Rowan. That is my child. I'm not there tonight with him, so I'm just telling him happy birthday.
Happy birthday. No. Happy birthday. Thank you, Christine and Sarah. Thanks so much, guys. All right, that ends the mayor's report for this evening. And next we move on to the consent agenda, which is in your packet. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell residents who'd like to speak on the consent agenda?
There are no speakers for this item.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Does council have any comments or questions regarding the consent agenda? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion made by Councilmember Johnson. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Sells. All are familiar with all the items on the consent agenda. If you're in favor of passing the consent agenda, please do so by raising your hand. Thank you very much. Let the record show that the 5 votes to 0 and the vote is unanimous and the consent agenda passes. Thank you very much. Next, we move to the regular agenda for this evening. City Clerk Nancy Long, would you please read the first item on the regular agenda?
Yes, this item is approval of a resolution to adopt the FY 2025 end-of-year budget amendment and adopt all budget amendments for FY 2025. This will be presented by Director of Finance Adam Novotny.
Thanks, Nancy. Welcome, Adam. Glad to see you, sir. Glenn?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. With me, as always, is my partner in prudent financial management, Lynn Williams. So tonight we are talking about the 2025 budget amendment, not to be conflated with the budget for 2026 that you all passed in October. This is in accordance with state law to adopt any amendments by resolution. This is really just a up item to better align our expenses, revenues, and budgeted amounts. And we're going to Okay, great. So the first couple of items on here are recognizing additional revenues that we had in a couple of line items. Some items performed better than we had reason to expect in 2025, which was certainly fortunate for us. So that's recognizing those particular, excuse me, revenues. Also adjusting some of our fee-based revenues and expenses to realize what we actually had in 2025 thus far. This is a best practice to do at this point in the year before the close of the fiscal year. I know internal or external audit partners often look at that we are closely aligning our expenses and revenues with our budgeted amounts. Couple of other items of note on the general fund before I ask Lynn to chime in on the rest of the enterprise funds. So we have a couple of insurance reimbursements for damages that we're recognizing on here. There's some internal transfers within departments that also need to be recognized in here. Recognized donations made to the fire department. Internal service transfers to fleet and rec participation fund. And then the last item, certainly of note in the general fund, is an increase to compensation adjustment contingency. And so that's for us to pay for merit increases on average of 4% in 2026 with 2025 carry forward money.
Here. Good evening.
Hey, Lynn.
What we have here is there was a couple of fee adjustments that also affected the capital, so that's the first item up there. For the rec bond and the public safety bond, we wanted to recognize the interest that we have received and pay a little bit of arbitrage there. The deck bond, as we're getting close to the end, we wanted to recognize the interest revenue that we had associated and assign that expenditures to that project. Within the fleet fund, we did have some expenditures that went a little more heavier than we expected within fleet, but we also had some insurance damage. So this was damage that was done to a vehicle that an insurance reimbursed us for. So recognizing that revenue of 110 and the expenditures that go along with them, and then the additional expense related to fleet, mostly in public safety. For the water fund, stormwater, and solid waste, those are the next three. It is specific to the compensation adjustment contingency and associated use of fund balance in 25 to do that. Rec participation fund, we did move 10 people from general fund to rec participation. There's a couple more expenses that we wanted to put with them. And then fee adjusted how much is coming from the fees and how much is in fund balance, and then adjusted the compensation adjustment there as well. And then for the IT fund, we had some software and those kinds of things that come in, and timing, we just had them counted off. And so we want to recognize the fund balance to pay those in 2025 rather than in the 24-6 month.
Thanks, Lynn. Adam, are we going to go, are you and Jeff and Bill and Don, are y'all doing a robust discussion on this 2026 merit pay, or are we just leaving it as a flat item?
So in here, we're just flagging the dollar amount in terms of the amended amount that we're going to carry forward into 2026. I think there's some announcements pending on how the mechanics of that are going to work that are based upon with Dr. Panino and our good friends in the human resource.
I've got a presentation here in front of me. I'm looking at Don past you a little bit. Adam, are we not doing, I thought you guys were doing that this evening, Don. Yes. Yes, sir. I thought the part of the budget amendment, the part of, other than making some adjustments, some traditional year-end adjustments, part of this was to notify the residents of 2026 merit pay discussion and tying that into what you have done in the last 4 years and making some distinctions so everyone would understand basically what's happened with merit pay over the last 4 years, and then kind of signaling out what's, for example, if you're a policeman, how much the increase of pay has been over the last 4 years.
Sure. Yeah, that's absolutely the intent, sir, and it is a big deal. We want to highlight it. We didn't prepare anything specifically to present tonight, but absolutely intended to verbalize some of the material that we've covered. So if I miss something in my talking points, you remind me, because I can tell you're looking at the information right there that we're referencing. But yes, to kind of recap here, what's being covered by this budget amendment is a 4% on average increase for all the employees across the city, with the exception of police. As you recall, in the 26 budget, the 5% merit increase was approved for police. So the 4% that Adam referenced, which is about a $1.4 million recurring impact, is what's being covered by the budget amendment, which is basically the overage from 2025, right? So good news for our people. We were able to fund that without actually having to go into the budget and fund it. We were able to fund it through this year's performance. So good news there, right?
Huge.
For sure, big deal. And I think some of the context that you were referencing there was important as well. We went back and looked, sometimes you'll do like a market study, or where have we been the last 3 or 4 years? If you go back to 2021 through 2025, if you go back over the last 5 years, and you look at the level of increases for employees over that period, you'll see anywhere from, on average, 6% to 10% annual average for the work groups. 10% being the police. Public safety is where the greatest investment has been. But all the other work groups at a minimum have been 6%. So compounded over a 5-year period, that's anywhere from a 30% to a 50% increase for the work groups. And so there's been a steady progression. That's not been a lumpy progression over the last 5 years. There have been some market adjustments there where that were kind of lifts. But we've also had a number of years where there's been 4%, 6%, 3%. So kind of on average, annually, there's been some level of merit increase. And so yeah, a good track record over the last 4 or 5 years for folks. And we're grateful for being able to bring it forward again this year.
No, you guys have done a phenomenal job. The average annual salary increase has been 10% for sworn police since December 2021 through October of this year. It's been 8% for police non-sworn,
Yep.
so the same period from December 2021 through October 2025. And it's been 6 to 7% for all other departments in the city from December of 2021 through October. So getting this, again, another merit pay into the budget for 2026 was a big deal. It's a big part of this amendment. Really proud of you guys getting it done. Well done. Thank you, sir. Adam, do you have any?
And funded by savings from the 2025 budget. That's the other key.
Yes, sir. No increase to the taxpayer, exactly. Adam, you're looking very sad now that Don's coming up there.
No, I'm not sad. I'm never sad.
Anything else, sir, on this budget amendment?
No, I'll be happy to answer any questions that.
All right, well, let's take it to Nancy, City Clerk Nancy Long. Are there any Roswell residents who'd like to speak on this item?
We have no public speakers for this item.
Thank you so much, Nancy. All right, I'm going to turn to council for comments and questions. Alan, did you want to start? Okay. Any other council? Everybody good? Very good. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Lynn, for your presentation, your hard work. Christine, did you want to say something?
I'm just ready to make a motion.
Okay. Is there a motion made by Councilmember Hall?
Motion to approve item number 1, number 10191, approval of a resolution to adopt the fiscal year 2025 end-of-year budget amendment and adopt all budget amendments for fiscal year 2025.
Thank you very much, Christine Hall. Is there a second to that motion? Seconded by Councilmember Sells. All in favor of the motion made by Christine and seconded by Alan, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 5-0 and unanimous, and the resolution to adopt the 2025 year-end budget amendment and all budget amendments is approved. Thank you very much, and congratulations. Well done. City Clerk Nancy Long, would you please read the second item on the regular agenda?
Yes, this item is approval to execute the purchase and sale agreement for the conveyance of 1340 Woodstock Road, Bowen and 92. This will be presented by Director of Economic Development, Darrell Connolly.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Welcome, Darrell. While Darrell is putting those things together, I'll just add a couple of notes as you go through this. Tonight is not a site plan, and the vote tonight by council will not improve. They will not be approving a site plan. It's just simply going through the regular process. Residents will have a say. There'll be several steps after this if it's approved by council tonight. There'll be no drive-through restaurants as a part of this project. The drawing included in the packet is not being approved for development. And conditions will not be the same because the development will not be the same. The greengrocer is allowed use by right, but the developer has a right to determine what they build and whether or not it's economic viable. And you probably know that this part of this is making $500,000 for the city and getting a place for the fire station, and also getting a delivered site for the fire station, which is arguably about worth another $1 million. And this fire station's, it's 2.5 acres. So all those just kind of pieces while you were doing your thing, Darrell, so I'll let you go.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. Tonight I'm bringing to you a resolution for approval to execute a purchase and sale agreement for property at Bowen and 92, also known as 1340 Woodstock Road. By way of background, in November 2023, the city purchased 8.73 acres for $4.5 million. September of 2024, the Roswell Development Authority received a letter of intent from SJC Ventures, purchased the property for $5 million for a grocery-based development, reserving up to 2.5 acres of land for a future fire station. And then in October of the same year, 2024, the city entered into an intergovernmental agreement, scope of work number 1, to facilitate that transaction. The purchase and sale agreement that you're going to be approving tonight is between the Roswell Development Authority and Roswell Bowen Road LLC. That's an affiliate of SJC Ventures. Key components of the transaction: the city would convey property to the RDA, who would then sell the property for $5 million to the Roswell Bowen Road LLC. The purchase and sale agreement includes a land swap that would happen between the Westminster Japanese Church, provide access to the site. There would also be a subdivision into 2 parcels. One would be a city parcel, and the other would be, that was for the fire station, the other is for the development. Buyer would pursue zoning entitlements and easements for the commercial project. In terms of inspected outcomes, you'd have a development of a commercial project with enhanced activation at Bowen and 92. You would also have a site for development of a fire station. You'd be receiving $5 million when the city only paid $4.5 million, so it's an increase in revenue for the city. The RDA will remit the proceeds of the sale to the city, less a $25,000 fee. The city, just so you're aware, may incur some other transactional costs like legal fees and staff time. And this is not going to be the last time you see this particular item. In terms of next steps, the city is anticipating that there will be an application for variances that will come later on this year in December. In February of 2026, we're expecting that this will come to the committee of council, and there will be a hearing on the variances at the council meeting. And then in March, it would go before the design review board, and then we would ultimately have a closing on the transaction, but that would come back to you. We are recommending a motion to approve the City of Roswell executing the purchase and sale agreement dated December 2nd, 2025, between the Roswell Development Authority and the Roswell Bowen Road LLC for conveyance and development at 1340 Woodstock Road, and authorizing the mayor, city administrator, and the city attorney to execute all documents necessary to fulfill the city's limited obligations under Section 23 of the agreement. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Daryl, very much. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell residents who'd like to speak on this item?
Yes, Mayor, we have two speakers. The first is James Johnson.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Welcome, James. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council people. I'm Jim Johnson from the Orchards of Roswell. I'm currently the president of the board of directors for the Orchards. I'm representing a group of folks here tonight who came to show you that they are interested in what you are doing and want and are very present. I want to recognize that what you are doing tonight, from your perspective, is the sale of a piece of property. You're making $500,000. You're getting a free site for a fire station. You are increasing the commercial development of the city, increasing the tax base. Those are good things. But understand, from our perspective, you are giving us our next neighbor. And it is from that viewpoint that I really want to speak to you tonight. To this point, I can say the city has dealt honestly with us. Your staff has kept us aware of the work that has been done, made us aware of this meeting tonight proactively. We appreciate that. But now starts the real work. From our perspective, hopefully from yours. We have yet to meet our new neighbor. Hopefully, our new neighbor wants to be a good neighbor, as we do. Hopefully, you want to facilitate that process so that our concerns, which we have addressed with you, in writing in a letter, which I'd be happy to send again if anybody has lost it, that we have addressed with you so that we can meet the needs and the interests of our residents as they've expressed it. We look forward to that complete process and look for the opportunity to work closely with you. Again, what I would like to know and emphasize is that this process will be complete. It will involve both us and our new neighbor, and that our concerns will be taken into account. I understand this is just the sale, but we have to look forward also. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Thank you, sir. And yes, sir, as you probably saw, this is one of many steps. So this will ultimately be decided by the next mayor and council in 2026. Tonight is just about the PSA, but thank you. You're well said.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Nancy, our next speaker.
Courtney Rozier.
Thank you, Nancy. Welcome, Courtney.
Thank you. I'm actually here this evening to ask council members to table the discussion or this decision this evening until the new mayor and council are in place. This is a unique situation where this is city-owned property. To my knowledge, to date, there has not been a general community meeting to discuss the purpose and use of this land property. I think that basically with this opportunity in selling the property tonight, you could actually be advocating for us to have more information before the sale of the property. So that's part of the reason why I'm asking for this vote to be tabled until the next mayor are in place. I do have some concerns about the economic viability of another grocery store anchored shopping center in this particular area. I've confirmed with city staff that no economic viability market or demand study has been done. I also understand that there has been a traffic impact study that's been turned into the Georgia DOT. I think that those things should also be considered before the sale of the property, because my personal experience, and this is with the intersection of Hembry Road and House Road, when there was the roundabout that was built there, is that once this deal is in place, there's very little that can be done, especially since we're selling it to a grocery store developer, change the trajectory of what the use will be. There's not, while there might be a community input meeting after the sale, we're going to lose the opportunity to have discussions about other uses for this property. One of the things that I remember is from the last open mic night, there were several residents from the surrounding neighborhoods that had questions about, why is this going to be a grocery store development? I thought that this land was purchased by the city for green space. So to me, that says that there hasn't been enough community outreach and informing before the sale of this property. I also looked at the strategic plan, and number 9, there is an item for create a parkland acquisition program based on long-term 2050 resident population projections to meet the standard of 10 park acres per 1,000 residents. By going forward and moving forward with the vote this evening, we lose an opportunity to have a discussion about how much parkland has been purchased over the last 4 years, what is in this program. One of the things I remember from a previous meeting is that there was a list of projects and that were, I think it was for impact fees and where they might be spent. And parkland acquisition was one of those items. And I think there was like $16 million projected for the next 5 years. So I think that there could also be a bigger community discussion about the Sproul Road property that has been purchased, the park property that's been purchased at the old middle school, and how does that fit into this objective in the strategic plan goal? And perhaps moving forward, if we were to retain this property, perhaps then moving forward, looking and focusing on the east side, the purchases of parkland. So those are just that's an opportunity that I feel would be missed moving forward tonight with this vote. And so just for transparency and for more community input in regards to this particular city-owned and citizen-owned property, I would ask that you would table your vote this evening. Thank you.
City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any other residents?
There are no other speakers for this item.
Thank you so much. Council, any thoughts, comments, or questions on the matter at hand? Yes, ma'am. Councilor Beeson.
Totally understand both the speakers and your feedback. As is mentioned in the next steps, again, this is not approval of any sort of development whatsoever. In order to develop the property, the developer, and when I say this, in order to develop the property beyond what it is currently zoned for, the developer would have to come forward in order to request a variance. The city, as well as the community, that includes you, the residents who live in the area. I say this as somebody who I grew up walking distance to this area. My parents still live there. Will still be able to have very much an active role in shaping that, soliciting your feedback. That said, I recognize, Ms. Rozier, your feedback as well of believing that the city is taking away the power in this situation from ourselves and giving it to the developer. That's simply not the case. The community does get to shape variances. We get to shape feedback, and I understand too that's how in the past this project has not moved forward with past developers. I also hear the concerns about green space and park space. It's catty-cornered to a massive park with Lita Thompson Memorial Park. So in terms of looking at how we can equitably provide more park space throughout the entirety of Roswell, we have, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna look at staff. Jeff, you're on the spot. 43 square miles? Oh, look at me go. 40, what was it?
44.
44, oh gosh, I was
44.
so close. I was within a margin. What was that? with over 1,000 acres of park space, that we're trying to serve multiple communities. And looking at the Sproul property, that was one that was, I believe, 15 years in the works in terms of how long we've been planning that for park space, so it did come back online. So it made more sense to be able to retarget that, understanding that it's still within the same serviceable area, hard scrabble, dead ends, right into that area. So green space, park space, still very much a high priority, but understanding a main road on a thoroughfare where we already have park space catty corner to it probably doesn't make the most sense from a planning perspective. And in terms of whether or not it's economically viable, I don't work for a developer, never have worked for a developer, don't foresee myself working for a developer. At the same time, I don't foresee any developer investing a significant amount of money into acquisition of a property if they did not think that it was going to be economically viable. So that really is just the prospective purchaser and their responsibility in terms of determining the viability of the project. We, on the other hand, get to shape the project. We get to use residents and surrounding neighbors, their impact, what's going to make better quality of life for those in the area and making sure that it serves the community. So that's why I'm comfortable with moving this forward.
How do you remember all that off the top of your head? Everything she said, you
I don't.
basically...
I relied on my boy Jeff over here to remember 44 square miles of park space.
Yeah, well, that one was tough, exactly, 44 square miles.
But also, too, as I said, I did grow up catty corner from there. I moved to that main entrance off Hartscrabble Brookfield when I was 9 years old. I get to say, just like, you know, the old-timey residents of, I remember when it was horse farms. I literally do. I went to Mountain Park, past the horse farms that were the Target shopping center the entirety of my childhood. It's an evolving area. I don't think anybody on council currently or council in the future's goals is to shape any, especially something like that that's on a major thoroughfare, to shape that property in something that's not going to be largely beneficial for the community. So we do hear your concerns and understand that they're heard.
Thank you, Sarah. Alan? Yes, sir. Councilmember Sells.
Couple questions for one of you two guys. Let's just let's talk about the transfer between the city and the PSA, or excuse me, the city and the DDA. RDA, excuse me.
Sorry.
Yes, yeah, get my DAs right. So this conveyance, this PSA is only effective if the final project is completed. Is that a correct statement?
It is. I'm not sure. I'm not following the question.
We won't close with the RDA until we close on the project.
Correct.
Okay, so this is really just a purchase and sale agreement so that the RDA can proceed to do the things that we're talking about in your timeline, including the negotiations with the potential developer, vetting the project like Sarah was talking about. None of us are developers, a few here may be, but the economic viability of that's all part of that process. And this PSA is simply a gate to achieve that and empower the RDA to undertake those things. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Am I missing anything specific around that? Okay, so then that means all things are still on the table with respect to this project.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. There was, I think I'll stop there.
Christine, Will? Will, this is your project. You got nothing to say?
Probably the only thing I can add to this is the how did we get here scenario, and that is originally we had visions of this parcel being parkland. Once we obtained the parcel, then the Crabapple Middle School fell into play, which was not expected. Then the Sproul property fell into our lap, which was not expected. Again, we've been fighting this fight for 15 years trying to get the Sproul property. When all this acreage then comes under our belt, we have to have a budget within the Recreation and Parks Department to not only service the programming that is going on that new acreage, but we also have to have the capital to go with it. So we decided that we were going to reorganize our funding and our efforts to prioritize those two projects and those two priorities. That being said, the fire department going on the corner was always the plan. Well, the fire department going on the property was always going to be the plan, and it is still there. This does not go forward without the fire department, correct?
That's my understanding.
That is correct. And the other talking point that was already raised, and it's probably been glossed over, is that this does not go forward without the fire department pad going in at the developer's expense, correct?
Correct.
So these are two major wins. Not only making our money back off of this, but we're able to put that money into other investments within the Recreation and Parks Department as a whole for the other two parcels, or other two programs, other two, name it, within the division that is highly needed at this point. Thank you.
Councilmember Beeson. Thank you, Will.
One additional comment before I tag Councilmember Sells back in. I also wanted to tag on the point about the fire station. So I know that begs the question of, okay, if you're not using it for park space, why did you acquire this property? The fire department over the last year and a half had done a data analysis that indicated that that was one of the service areas where we needed to increase our coverage. And it's one of the few areas where we could cite a fire station that could increase our coverage throughout the city without us having to add an additional fire station. So we're able to take Station 23, move it further down past Jones to where Bowen is, at Bowen and 92, and be able to expand their service area. I'm going to say something that's probably going to be wildly unpopular with folks in this room, and that's fine. Just know I'm a very slow runner. You can easily catch up to me if you have concerns. Please don't hurt me. The number one reason for calls in the Roswell community is not actually fires. The major reason for calls in the Roswell community is actually health service calls, specifically health service calls for people who are over the age of 50. I understand, I say this lovingly, that folks at the Orchards had given us feedback last time of the demographics in their community. I say this as well. My parents are also in that demographic who live very, very close to you. This is something that was very helpful for that area based off the data analysis that the fire department had done. I get not wanting to live next to something like a fire station. I also get not wanting to live next to something like a park because of things like light pollution or having strangers wandering around behind where your house may be. In this case, you're going to have a fire station that's going to be staffed by first responders 24/7, and that's something that decreases crime in the area. I know that there was concerns about homelessness recently at one of our past council meetings. There was concerns about vagrancy in the area, especially because it's a blighted property. That's all going to go down tenfold with a fire station being there. So I hear your concerns in terms of you have concerns about a fire station. And then also too, with feedback from the fire department, firefighters understand that you're not wanting to hear sirens 24/7, so they're not going to run their sirens for kits and giggles at 3 o'clock in the morning when no one's on 92, which is going to wake you up, obviously. It's only in order to get out of their bays. And I say this as somebody who was public safety liaison for the last 2 years. What's the score? I'm just messing with you. I just heard phone. I say this as someone who's been the public safety liaison for the last 2 years, so I followed along throughout the duration of that study, not only for the placement of the fire stations, the heat maps for services at area, including Station 27, but also areas in the community where we could use increase of service response times. So understand the concern, but it is beneficial for its placement to be specifically on that property.
Thank you, sir. Eldon?
Just dilly-dilly. I completely agree, Sarah. This is an important step, and this mayor and council has set out to make the fire, in particular, full-time, well-staffed, very thorough, and so there's been a lot of studies over the last several years, and adding technology to allow for placement of fire stations more judiciously and thus lower cost. This is a part of that, and the fact that we can basically get so much of that improvement cost borne by the developer, get our $5 million, you get $4.5 million plus $500,000 back. And the other thing that I always like to point to, because we're all residents here.
Plus a prep site.
Sorry?
Plus a prep site.
Plus a prep site.
$1 million.
Yeah, and here's the thing, we're all residents here. We only have so much commercial property in Roswell, and this is a key corner. It is very unproductive to us as a city from a tax perspective. This is moving that direction, which I talk about every time. I always say, what's the property yielding today? What can we do with it that improves that? And this is a win-win-win in that regard. I'm very happy to do this, and I think this is a great project.
Let me ask this, any other thoughts, comments? Yes, Councilmember Worthlet. Will?
One last thing. City Administrator Knighton, can you reaffirm that when this purchase took place originally, this was not bond funding, this was general fund funding, and so that money is going back into the general fund?
Right, that's correct. It was general funds out of 2024, I believe.
but it was general fund, not bond.
Thank you very much, Will. And City Attorney Davidson, Chief Legal Officer Davidson, let me ask you a question. So this is a PSA tonight. It's an approval of a purchase sale agreement between the RDA and the developer. And so if, for example, that the incoming mayor and council, which will be here in a month, don't like this plan and say, look, we want to stop this. We don't want this fire station here. We don't want this development here. We don't want the city to get $5 million put back in the general fund. We don't want a $500,000 private profit. We don't want this at the right site in relation based upon 3 years of analysis. If they determine that they want to stop that, they have the full power and authority to do that effective January the 5th of 2026, do they not?
Yes, they do.
So that's an easy fix, right? So if there's opposition to this, so it's not a matter, this is a matter of the course of this body continuing to do something it's been working on for 3 years. And if there's a new elected body that has a different perspective, they have the full authority and ability to do it very easily.
Correct. They're under no obligation to approve any of the variances or entitlements.
And all those processes are to come.
Correct.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. All right, council, any other thoughts, comments, or questions on the matter? Very good. I'll ask if there is a motion on this.
I make a motion to approve to execute the purchase and sale agreement for the conveyance of 1340 Woodstock Road, which is Bowen and 92.
Thank you, Councilmember Sells. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Johnson. All in favor of the motion as stated by Councilmember Sells and seconded by Councilmember Johnson, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the motion passes 5-0 unanimously and is completed. Thank you very much. City Clerk Nancy Long, would you please read the third item on the regular agenda?
Yes, Mayor, this is approval of a ground lease agreement between Fulton County and the City of Roswell and authorize the mayor or city administrator to execute a final agreement in substantial accordance with the agreement attached to this agenda item. This will be presented by Stephen Malone, Director of Recreation and Parks.
Thank you, Nancy. Welcome, Stephen.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, this item is for approval and authorization of a ground lease agreement between the City of Roswell and Fulton County. This is a renewal and formalizes a joint agreement for the Chattahoochee River Park properties. I'll show you an image in 1 second to itemize those different parcels. This agreement replaces the 1998 intergovernmental agreement and establishes a long-term structure for operations, maintenance, and improvements. Some of the terms within this agreement, it's a 25-year lease with a 25-year renewal option. There's no monetary rent associated with this, and city provides full operations, maintenance, and capital improvements on these sites. Equal access is guaranteed for all Roswell and Fulton County residents. And a few purposes and benefits of this agreement: it enables the city to engage in major planned improvements such as event space, restrooms, play areas, parking design, etc. This also supports continued programming and riverfront activation and ensures stability for long-range capital planning and community investment. Gives you a quick overview of the 11 different parcels that are along the river, starting downstream at the border between Roswell and Cobb County and runs upstream to Riverside Park. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Director Malone. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell residents who would like to speak on this item?
Yes, we have one speaker, Jason Yao.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nancy. Welcome, Jason Yao.
So I'm under the impression that we already have a lease in place, not just an MOU. And I don't understand what is being done with this lease that wasn't done with the original lease. Hoping that you can enlighten me what the difference is between this lease and the original ground lease for the parks on the river. Is there a material difference? And if not, why a new lease? Because everything that was just outlined seems to be in the original lease. Kind of waiting for an answer.
Any other comments, sir?
Well, I'm just concerned how it might impact me, because as you know, I own more of Azalea Park than the city of Roswell, because the city of Roswell doesn't own anything in Azalea Park. It leases Azalea Park from Fulton County. And I'm just wondering if there might be any new language in this lease that would adversely impact me in that regard. Because it wouldn't be the first time the city did something to disadvantage my property. Like in 2014, when the UDC was implemented and the entirety of Azalea Park was allegedly rezoned to conservation from residential. But, and I say allegedly because it's not substantiated in the documents that were filed as part of the 2014 UDC second reading. So it was kind of a weird thing to implement that zoning category, but not fully implement it with the backup documentation.
So
I'm
Jason,
just wondering
you're
if this
talking about
lease is-
2014 UDC, which this body just simply governs. I don't think
Right,
it's
but
material.
I'm saying it wouldn't be the first time that the city of Roswell had done something to disadvantage
That's a
my
stipulation
property.
that will give you an answer to the question. Is there any other comments directly related to this?
No.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
I'll get you an answer.
Thank
Thank you, sir. Mr. Davidson, would you answer Mr. Yow's question, please, sir?
There is no substantial change to the lease terms with Fulton County, other than we are not having to pay $1 that we were paying over the previous 25-year lease. That lease did expire. That's why we're doing a new lease.
Is there anything for Jason to be concerned about? Any,
There is, but it doesn't have anything to do with this.
Yeah, not in this agreement.
is there anything in relation to this agreement that he should be concerned about as a landowner?
No, it has nothing to do.
Is there
I
any
mean,
language that's changed in this agreement?
There are some language changes, but it doesn't change the circumstances out there as it exists now.
Anything material to his property?
No, nothing material to his property.
Outstanding. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Nancy. Council, any thoughts, comments, or questions? That's the last speaker. Yes, ma'am? Thank you. Any thoughts, comments, or questions from council on the matter? Thank you very much. I'll ask for a motion. Councilmember motion? Councilmember Mortland, sorry. Sorry to make you read it, Will.
Yeah. Motion to approve a ground lease agreement between Fulton County and the city of Roswell and authorize the mayor or city administrator to execute a final agreement in substantial accordance with the agreement attached to this agenda item.
Thank you, Will. Motion made. Is there a second to that motion? Seconded by Councilmember Johnson. All in favor of the motion as stated by Councilmember Mortland and seconded by Councilmember Johnson, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 5-0 and unanimous and passes. Thank you very much. City Clerk Nancy Long, would you please read the fourth item on the regular agenda?
Yes, this item is approval for the mayor or city administrator to award a contract to MAPP for the Riverside Park construction project in an amount of $12,299,307.81 and project budget authorization of $13,841,186.80. This will also be presented by Stephen Malone, Director of Recreation and Parks.
Thanks so much, Nancy. Welcome again, Stephen.
Thank you, sir. Just a point of order. All the slides throughout this presentation will remain as they were originally published. I have reordered them slightly, but none of the details within the slides have changed. So if you're following along, the online version may be a little bit out of sequence from where it is tonight during this presentation. Just wanted to make you aware. Tonight we're talking about the Riverside Park. Riverside Park is one of our most active and well-loved parks along the Chattahoochee River corridor. We get approximately 130,000 visitors annually to this park. The park encompasses approximately 21 acres and features a variety of amenities, including 2 playgrounds, a spray ground, open green spaces, a bandstand, and a multi-use trail that connects to the broader river system. Originally, it was opened in November of 2002. Riverside Park has long served as our central gathering place for residents and visitors alike. It is also home of several of Roswell's signature community events, most notably Riverside Sounds Concert Series, which draws thousands of attendees to it each year. You'll see a rendering in front of you. This rendering highlights the open sight lines with this new redesign. This goes throughout the park, improving both visibility and safety. They showcase the distinctive open-air pavilion that sits there towards the parking lot area, designed to create a flexible gathering space for events and daily use. You can also see the new nature-based play features, which is inspired by the textures and forms of the Chattahoochee River environment. This gives you a preview of the images, highlight the new architectural style for the buildings and the restroom facilities throughout the park. The design emphasizes natural materials, open sight lines, visual connection to the river corridor, creating a constant look and feel across the site. These structures are intended to be functional, durable, and complementary to the surrounding landscape. This overhead gives you a good overview perspective, which provides the comprehensive view of the redesigned Riverside Park, showcases how all the new amenities connect across the site. You can see how activity zones, gathering spaces, and natural areas are thoughtfully integrated into one cohesive layout. The design emphasizes balance between recreation, community use, and environmental preservation, reflecting the core goals of the Roswell River Parks Master Plan. So while this is a new construction project, the concept for a cohesive River Parks Master Plan actually dates back 2015. That year, the city hired a consultant team to develop a comprehensive master plan for the 15 contiguous parcels along the Chattahoochee River. The plan covered the area stretching from Don White Memorial Park to Willio Park, and it created a unified vision for the riverfront experience. To give you a little background on the River Park Master Plan, because it obviously is a master plan focused on public green space, community input was essential in shaping the overall vision and priorities. The city hosted 3 public input meetings in 2015 at City Hall, East Roswell, Roswell River Landing, to gather ideas and feedback directly from the community. Some of the outcomes of that Roswell River Park Master Plan: this public input helped to shape the plan's priorities, which included active recreation, water features, and enhanced trail connectivity throughout the river corridor. There was a strong desire at the time to preserve and restore the natural environment while also addressing parking, traffic concerns to support safe and accessible events and the use of the parks. The River Parks Master Plan was formally adopted in 2016 and was amended, an addendum was presented and approved in 2022 to address such topics as dredging. Ace Sand Phase 1 marked the first major project implementation from the River Park Master Plan. That occurred in 2024, setting the foundation for the cohesive development along the river corridor. Riverside Park now represents the next major phase in carrying out the long-term vision, transforming one of Roswell's most active and visible parks along the river. The current design by Star Whitehouse Landscape Architects incorporates key elements from the original master plan, resulting in a comprehensive full park renovation that blends recreation, ecology, and community gathering spaces. Give you a little information. This is our River Parks tree facts slide. It's important to note that a certified arborist was involved in both the design and permitting approval process. Brookwood Tree Consulting collaborated with the project team on the design elements, and our city arborist participated in the permit review and approval to ensure compliance with all tree protection standards. As with all of our capital project designs, we take extraordinary care to limit impacts to trees while ensuring the project remains functional, safe, and aligned with the community needs. Every design decision requires a careful balance between preserving the tree canopy and meeting essential program, access, safety, and infrastructure requirements. This balance is an ongoing iterative process. Design elements are evaluated repeatedly to reduce tree impacts wherever possible. Specimen trees proposed for removal were strategically and painstakingly reviewed by the design team and certified arborists to determine whether they could be preserved without compromising critical components of the project. Ultimately, those removals reflect situations where preservation was not feasible while still delivering a functional, accessible, and high-quality park improvement. Out of the 221 trees proposed to be removed, it's important to note that 77 of those trees are already identified as being in poor health by those certified arborists. Of the 14 specimen trees identified for removal, the reasons are as follows, and it'll be important to note that out of those 14 specimen trees, 5 are the species of crepe myrtle, which are non-native plants. 7 of the specimen trees are needed to accommodate the reconfiguration of the parking lot, and I'll show you some more details about that in a few minutes. 2 are related to the construction of the special events pavilion that's on site. 2 are required to support the expanded playground elements. 1 is located near the bandstand, where removal is necessary to construct a new access ramp. 1 is adjacent to the lawn area, and 1 is located at the limits of disturbance, which we are actively reviewing this one with the contractor to determine if it's maybe possible to preserve this one. It's also important to highlight that while removals receive the most attention, the overall tree canopy will remain strong. The existing tree count within the project area is 5,238 trees, and after construction, the total will be 5,324 trees, resulting in a net gain of 86 trees across the site. While many of the newly planted trees will mature into specimen caliber trees over time, the project also includes the intentional planting of 3 new specimen trees at the project completion. Just to give you a recap, this shows you all of the renovations, areas, and improvements for this project. This renovation introduces a wide range of upgrades, building on the community input while modernizing the park experience for all visitors. Enhanced safety and security, the improved sightlines, upgrading lighting, and better pedestrian flow throughout the park. User-focused amenities, including an open spray ground, unique open-air pavilion, a nature-inspired play structure reflecting the Chattahoochee River environment. Event and production upgrades, the improved bandstand shows improved infrastructure, which will attract national-level performers and enhance the overall concert and festival experience. Sustainable design, you'll notice in this that it incorporates a lot of green space infrastructure to improve water quality, reduce impervious surfaces, and still expand parking and play areas. You'll notice in the green infrastructure item that we talk about removing 12,000 square feet in impervious surface materials. That is coming specifically from the reconfiguration of the parking lot, and we'll also get more parking spaces by doing so. We're able to take that 12,000 square feet that we'll be removing of impervious surface in the parking lot, and we'll be putting that into the playground space, which will be representing about a 22% increase in play features for the community. To give you a little background on the procurement process, we posted the solicitation July 3rd, 2025. MAPP was found to be the lowest responsive and responsible contractor to perform the work. The city negotiated with MAPP to reduce the contract price. The negotiated price is held for 120 days. That is why we are here before you tonight at Mayor and Council, is that pricing expires on December 12th, 2025. We're asking for contract authorization in the amount of $12,299,308, which is total budget allocation of $13,841,187, which includes a $1,541,879 for construction contingency, admin, testing, etc. This gives you a good overview of the schedule. If approved tonight, we will sign the contract in early January. Construction will begin February of 2026, with substantial completion estimated July 2027. Thank you tonight for that consideration for this item.
Thank you, Director Malone. Appreciate that excellent presentation. Director Leatherman, did you want to add anything before we turn it over to comments? Very good. City Clerk thank you. Well done, Stephen. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell residents who'd like to speak on this item?
Yes, Mayor, we have 4 speakers for this item. The first is Courtney Rozier.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Welcome again, Courtney. Good evening.
Do I need it? Courtney Rozier? Okay. Real quick, if I'm understanding correctly, I believe the improvements, many of them are going to be around the stage area. And I believe around the stage area, that's where the Trail of Tears Memorial, the boulders are. So I was just wondering during the, A, make sure I'm correct, but B, during the construction phase, will they be moved or how would they be protected? Then also, I think in listening in regards to the discussion about the trees, kind of just had 2 questions. One, in listening to the discussion and looking, I believe there were 14 specimen trees, but I think I heard that only 3 were going to be put back in. So I was wondering if there was a reason why there wouldn't be a 1-to-1 ratio of replacement of the specimen trees, unless I heard incorrectly. And then my second question would be, with the trees, how is it spread out? I think, we all know with Mimosa Hall, one of the things that we discussed was just that with the removal of the trees, some of the reaction may have just been not anticipating what that would look like. So I was wondering if perhaps, considering the number of trees that are going to be removed, just a little bit more explanation in regards to, is it spread out? Is it concentrated? Have a better idea of what that would look like in actual practice. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. Stephen, can we answer those 3 questions, please, sir?
Yes, sir. So first question was regarding the memorial marker. The only memorial marker down in that area is the McHenry Brown marker, which sits adjacent to the limits of disturbance. It'll be outside that area. So it will not be impacted by this project.
What about the Trail of Tears?
The Trail of Tears boulders will not be
It's on the
touched.
other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's outside the limits of disturbance right there. Regarding the 14 specimen trees, and I think the question was, why are we only putting 3 specimen trees back out of the 14? While we will be planting many different types of trees that will evolve and grow into specimen trees, the 3 are currently identified to be replaced immediately. Specimen tree is generally related to the size of the tree. So most of the trees that will be replanted will eventually turn into a specimen tree after time.
Does that mean that the ratio will be greater than 1-to-1?
We will net 86 trees after the project is done. That means we will have 86 more trees on site than we did to start.
How many of those will be specimen trees?
I would need to go back and look at the specifics because, again, specimen is going to be dictated by the specific size of the tree, and that's a lot of different variables that
Size
can
of
go
the
into
tree,
that.
okay.
Yeah.
If we can further elucidate, that'd be awesome.
And then I think there was one other question regarding the different areas in which those 14 trees were impacted.
Kind of the explanation of, hey, the canopy, where it's going down.
Great question. So over half of those specimen trees are located within the parking lot, which probably should never have had some of these trees in the first place. So the majority of the 7 trees that are being removed in the parking lot are very specific for the reconfiguration that's needed to get that 12,000 square feet of impervious surface out of the parking lot.
Thank you, Stephen. Jeff, I see you talking. Is there any, hey, Jeff, any further? Yeah, let's do it.
Laura Dadisman, the arborist for Roswell. So the question regarding the specimen trees are of a certain size to begin with. The smallest being, according to the Roswell code, 8 inches, and then it goes up from there according to the species. So 16 inches, 20 inches, and 30 inches. And those are all different species according to those sizes. So what we're replacing is more than that and beyond those inches. 4-inch caliber trees, but that goes above and beyond the ones that were lost. So just to kind of clarify what specimen trees are and how much we're replacing based on that.
Thanks so much. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, City Clerk Nancy Long. Next speaker, please, ma'am.
Yes, the next speaker is Jason Yowell.
Thank you, Nancy. Welcome, Jason.
It's a great plan if the objective is to spend money unnecessarily. Parking lots pretty much look the way they do now. The spray ground is moved. And I don't understand when they came in with a plan that shows they're moving the spray ground, which means you have to completely demolish it. There should have only been 2 words. Should have been, "You're fired." I don't know how much you spent on this plan, but I'm guessing you probably spent serious money considering the projected cost. You don't need to spend that much money to refresh this park. This park is not changing in any real material fashion. The amphitheater lawn is there, the bandstand is there, the parking lot's there, the roundabout is there. It's shuffling deck chairs, basically, for $14 million plus the cost of the design work, which isn't included in any of the numbers that you're showing here. And the parking lots finally look decent because this is park 20 years old. It's taken 20 years for these trees to get to this size. And you're going to put in 4-inch caliper trees. Big deal. They're going to look like sticks in comparison to what's there now. It is such an unnecessary and gratuitous plan. It's like you're going, hey, we've got so much money to spend and we can't spend it fast enough. And it's kind of why the incumbents didn't win this year, because there's been so much irresponsible spending and so much incredibly bad and poorly conceived design work on everything you've touched. And this is just $14 million is 14% of the park bond. It's madness. Nobody sat there and said, hey, let's leave the trees alone that we can't. We finally got a parking lot that looks decent. Yes, let's repave it. Yes, we may need to do some resurfacing. But moving the spray ground? I mean, how old is that thing? 10 years? It makes no sense. It's just sheer ignorance in design. And you go and you hire a big firm. Now, far be it for me to disparage a firm from New York City, but why are you not hiring local design firms? Why are you hiring people from New York? It's crazy. It makes no sense. It's a bad plan, and you really need to table it for the next mayor and council. Don't go out on this note. It's not right. Thank you.
The next speaker, please, ma'am.
Yes, we have Theo Kaiserling.
Thank you, Nancy. Welcome, Theo.
My first time speaking at a city council meeting, but I'm sure you guys get my emails, right? Don't like them, I get it. But thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Welcome.
Some of you know me, some of you don't, but just to give a little history. For many, many years, I've been deeply invested in Roswell's parks, natural spaces, and overall quality of life. I previously served on the Roswell Recreation Commission. I've served on the Friends of the Roswell Parks. I was named Volunteer of the Year by the Georgia Recreation and Parks Association. I was given an award by the Georgia Urban Forest Council for Best Education Award by planting 2,500 trees in the city of Roswell in one day. I shared this not for recognition, but to make one thing absolutely clear. Protecting and enhancing Roswell's public spaces and natural environment has been central to my life and my service to this community. Because of that commitment, I understand the concerns about the loss of the specimen trees. None of us take that lightly, but we also must remember the larger context. This project, the Roswell River Plan, has gone through an extraordinary amount of public process. Countless workshops, community sessions, and transparent planning. The results have always been overwhelming for the River Parks Master Plan, and overwhelmingly positive. On top of that, 74% of Roswell voters approved the bond to fund this project. That kind of consensus is rare in any city or any government, but especially in Roswell. So it speaks to how strongly the community believes in the future of this project and the vision for the riverfront. This plan is not a development plan at the expense of nature. It's a development for the future of Roswell, one that expands public access, restores the river corridor, enhances recreation, and ultimately allows more of our community to enjoy the value of the riverfront. The tree impacts are real, but they are both mitigated and outweighed by the broader environmental, recreational, and economic benefits that this project does deliver. As someone who spent years planting trees and advocating for parks and working to strengthen Roswell's outdoor spaces, I'm confident that this project represents progress, responsible, community-backed, and future-focused progress. I urge you to support the approval of this tonight so we can move forward together on the vision that the citizens of Roswell have already overwhelmingly endorsed. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Theo. By the way, nice to see you. 4 years, you're right. We haven't seen you. First time. Nancy, next speaker, please, ma'am.
Yes, the final speaker is Ashley Glass.
Welcome, Ashley.
I just want to say a couple things. I love the parks. I can't wait for us to actually get back to being award-winning for our parks and actually have bathrooms that work. I can't wait for that time. But I am concerned on the price of this. When we still do not have a full-time fire department. Again, I want to put that on record because I know many of y'all up there, looking straight at all of y'all, you, continue to say that we have a full-time fire department, and I want all of the residents of Roswell to know that we do not have a full-time fire department and will not until 2027.
Ashley, is there a comment in reference to this particular item?
Yes, I am talking about the budget of this park.
Yes, ma'am. If that would be, make the comments pertinent to that.
I have a right to be here. I'm a resident, and I am talking about the budget.
And you're talking about this specific item. That's the matter at hand. Please, ma'am.
And so what I'm saying is that this is going to be $12 million, and I think that we need to step back and we need to evaluate the other parks that are literally falling apart. So we're going to literally do nothing about the ones that we have, and we're going to spend $12 million on a park that we're going to, again, spend $12 million on a park. And again, I think this is a great plan, but Our parks that we currently have are in despair. I mean, literally, there's so many things that do not work, including the bathrooms. And again, when we're spending this kind of money and don't have a full-time fire department, I hope that is what you're remembered for.
Thank you very much, Ashley. Appreciate those comments. Yes. Thank you. Any other Roswell residents, Nancy?
There are no other speakers.
Thank you so much. I'll bring it back to council for comments and thoughts. Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Beeson.
First, appreciate Ms. Kaiserling's comments. Obviously, someone who's been invested in the community for this long and has seen it from both sides, whose kids played in the rec programs, but also has been involved for decades, literally watching this firsthand. Want to reiterate that it is a 10-year-long plan in the making. I will actually take this off of everyone who sits on the dais because I can't take responsibility for it. The full-time fire department transition was initiated before I even joined council. That was initiated by Mayor Wilson, and then the remaining council members who were on board before I was even here. It is part of a 5-year rollout plan. We can't, unfortunately, clap our hands and magically make a full-time fire department transition happen. It is quite an investment. It's also not one that any previous administration decided to tackle. So I will give them their credit where it's due, that that's an initiative that they took under our former fire chief, and it's still continuing to this day. And you're right, it will be in 2 years, but that's 2 out of 5 years, and we haven't let off the throttle yet, so I will commend them for that. As opposed to investing those into our parks, I hear you, 12 million is a bonkers number. And interest rates are real, inflation's real, tariffs are real, and that number is not gonna get any better if we decline it this evening. As Mr. Malone mentioned, who is our Rec and Parks Director, that was a negotiated rate that they've been spending the last 3 months trying to negotiate in order to get a better price from the vendor who was publicly bid out and was the most competitive bid. Also, this isn't something that we were just like, you know what, guys? Let's go ahead and drop 12 mil on this parks program that we just like dreamt up overnight. It was initiated from a parks plan in 2015. Again, to commend this group, it was something that they picked up and ran with for the parks bonds in 2022. I can't take credit for that either because I was on that ballot. So I was voted for the same time that I was elected the same time that the people of Roswell voted for those bonds. And people probably don't like me. They might not like the bonds either. Either way, people voted for it, so here we are. And we're continuing to see those through. It was initiated and bid before people even qualified to run for office this year in July. The vendor was selected. We negotiated the rate. I understand the concern of not wanting for mayor and council tonight to initiate $12 million for this plan that comes across 3 administrations of this city. Unfortunately, if we say no tonight and decline it, those costs aren't going to get any better. If you take it back out to market, costs are only going to increase. So it's really time is of the essence at this point in order to initiate that plan.
Thank you, Councilmember Beeson. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions from council? Councilmember Mortland.
Thank you, Ms. Kaiserling, for your comments, but there's also another person I'd like to publicly thank, and that is our old Rec Commission President, Deb Ewing, for the work that she did during the bond initiative and understanding the River Parks Master Plan in conjunction with what Ms. Kaiserling was talking about. Those 2 people, among many other people, really pulled the strings on this to get the public behind it, which is the reason, as it was already said, that this was overwhelmingly supported by the Roswell voter. Thank you.
Thanks, Will. Just a quick reminder, when one of the first items in February of 2022 that this current mayor and council addressed was the 125 plans that had been developed by the city of Roswell over a period of years. Some of those plans were quickly accepted as like, hey, this is a great plan, why don't we move forward on it? That's exactly what we did, and one of those was the 2016 River Master Plan. And if you remember, we actually took money out of the general fund and initiated the River Master Plan, about $7 million in 22-23. The River Master Plan is several phases. This is ostensibly the 3rd phase of it. We brought it to you, the voters, our fellow residents, to approve the $35 million of the 107.8 in the Parks Bond, which the voters, as was mentioned heretofore, overwhelmingly approved. This is just a succession of motives. And again, if the new mayor and council find it in their purview and wisdom that they wish to reverse course, they most certainly can. But I think this item has been on the ballot, wasn't on the ballot, wasn't a measure that was deliberated or talked about through any of the campaign circumstances by anybody, because I think it's overwhelmingly supported by the community. Has overwhelming input from the community. And so any posturing to the opposite is simply that. And the mayor and council that comes in has the power to reverse course if they see it within their purview to reverse course on the river master plan. And certainly that is their right and purview to do it. But this duly elected body is duly elected till either December 31st or January 4th. I get confused on the dates. But they're here, and it would be irresponsible of this mayor and council to not deliberate on decisions that the people of Roswell have said they support. It's been part of long-term planning. This is not an immediate response to action. This is a long-term, disciplined course, and it's the right and proper thing to do. It would be irresponsible for this body not to act this evening. So, and if the future mayor and council doesn't like it, they can reverse course. But this body has a right and a responsibility to move forward in what it believes has been the past guidance from the city of Roswell and its residents. Any other thoughts, comments, or Councilmember Sells?
I guess I'm surprised that that's a scandalous statement, frankly. But nonetheless, I just want to say that Mr. Yao, in all modesty, has said to me personally that there's nothing done in this building that he could not do better. Over and over again, he has said that to me. So, you know, I think this is a great plan. And in particular, I would like to ask you, Mr. Malone, if we followed Mr. Yao's first advice, which is not to renew this lease, how prudent would it be to spend $1 on this park? Okay. So if we followed his advice, his demand to not renew the lease, then we would be fools to be even talking about this. Maybe that would be the better course. I don't know what Jason wants, but anyway, I think this is a ridiculous conversation with Jason, and I think we should go ahead and vote on it. So I'd be happy to make a motion if you'd like.
Yes, sir. Any other? Thank you, Mr. Yao. Appreciate your comments earlier very much. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions from Council? Councilmember Johnson.
Yeah, thank you. When I first moved to Roswell, I bought a house right across the street. Well, not right across the street, but basically right across the street from this park. Across the street from a sand plant, which we've already done. This is just going to be one of the, 20 years from now, we're going to be looking back at this and just be amazed at how awesome this park looks and the amount of investment that's been put in. And Theo and Deb, thank you for your work on getting this started. That's why I moved to Roswell was, to live close to the river at the time when we moved up here, because we love the river. I rode on the river in college. I mean, it's just why I'm here in the city, and I love it. And finally, I'd be a lot more open to the advice of citizens about the aesthetics and the planning of this park if they didn't own the ugliest piece of property along the riverfront. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Councilmember Hall.
Thank you. And thank you, Theo, for your comments and bringing that information, because I think a lot of people don't know about these plans and the work and the effort and all of the input that's gone into them over the years. And really, it's one of the first things that Mayor said that we have got to make happen when he and this council came in, and that's really, really thrilling. But I also want to commend staff, because it's not just this project, but as part of the transportation master plan, Riverside Road is also getting its entire new corridor. And because we've worked 4 years to break down silos and reimagine our organization and change the paradigm of the way that government works for the residents inside the city, I mean, it's just, I mean, we're going to be a case study, I promise you. But it's tremendous because of the synergies and some of the savings that we're able to recognize, because we're going to run those programs, projects parallel to each other. We're not, the other project's already approved, done, so we're not talking about it today. But it's truly incredible. This is an incredible accomplishment for this organization, for this city, who just sat idle for 20 to 30 years, you know, and was kicked to the curb and leapfrogged. I just cannot see it go back. And some of these comments are almost ludicrous that we even have to listen to. But thank you for all of your work, and thank you to all the residents and to my fellow, to Mayor and my colleagues for supporting this.
Thanks, Christine. Thank you, Mr. Yell. Thank you, Mr. Yell. I appreciate that, sir. You've had your opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Yell. Thank you, Mr. Yell. Appreciate your time. Thank you, sir. So, yeah, 2016, the city came up with this pretty cool plan. Had a lot of public input, and what was really cool was it was like one of the many plans. It sat there, and unfortunately, there wasn't the political will to do it. And I'm very proud of this elected body having the courage to do it. And then this amazing staff led by Mr. Knighton and Jeff. Well done, sir, team. Brian, Sharon on this. You guys have all had a major part of this. Stephen, well done, sir, because this has been an incredible effort. And I think as you just said, Christine, this has a lot of components to it. Just to tell you one of the impossible things that we don't talk about much. When we got into this project, we realized one of the components that wasn't really addressed was dredging. And the city had given up its dredging permit 13 years hence, if I remember correctly, a little bit. And so you say, well, what's the big deal with dredging? Well, we looked at it, and we looked at the viability of this project, and we said, this is a cool project. But if you spend this $35 million, what's the efficacy of this project 10 years down the road if you don't dredge? So one of the things I'm very proud is the governance that went into saying, look, we have got to get the ability to dredging back. And if you can imagine in the modern era, going through 7 different governmental agencies, which is what this government has done, to get dredging back. Once you give it up, it's like you've given up your gold. And this government, under really Jeff's leadership and Will's leadership, has gotten the ability for this city to get a dredging permit back. And you say, well, what's the big deal? Hugely important to the long-term efficacy of the River Master Plan and this being long-term viable. It's a big deal. Great governance and great work, and just Jeff, amazing, well done. So thank you. Randy, you guys have been a big part of this. River Master Plan belongs to you guys as well, belongs to our residents, and Christine, it certainly belongs to you guys. You guys did a great job. Well done, council. All right, being there are no other comments or thoughts, I'll turn it over to a motion if anybody has a motion. Councilmember Mortland.
Motion to approve for the mayor or city administrator to award a contract to MAPP for the Riverside Park construction project in the amount of $12,299,307.81 and project budget authorization of $13,841,186.80.
Thank you, Councilmember Mortland. Is there a second to the Will's motion? Seconded from Councilmember Johnson. All understand item number 4 has been previously addressed and communicated and discussed. All in favor of its approval tonight, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 5-0 and unanimous. Thank you very much, and congratulations to everyone. Oh, hold on a second. Let me read it before we excuse you, because we want to be technically correct here, right? Yeah, City Clerk Nancy Long, would you please read the 5th item on the agenda, please, ma'am?
This item is approval of a resolution of the Roswell City Council consenting to the expansion of the North Fulton Community Improvement District, DBA True North 400, presented by Darrell Connolly, Director of Economic Development.
Thank you, Nancy, so much. Welcome back, Darrell. And Councilmember Johnson, you're going to recuse yourself on this vote, correct, sir? Yes.
Alex Battle from North 400. Question you have on the North
Welcome, Alex.
This is a resolution consenting to the expansion of the North Fulton Community Improvement District, doing business as True North 400. This expansion has happened several times in the past, in the last couple of years. You've seen this. This particular item, the North Fulton CID is looking to expand with 10 Roswell parcels. They're listed there. There's the Northside Hospital. There is several properties with the Brixmore Group over at Kings Market. This is a voluntary self-assessment that they are putting on the property. In blue is the outline of the current CID boundary, and then in green are the additional properties that they are looking to expand into. Roswell is the final jurisdictional approval needed to complete the expansion. Milton and Alpharetta have already granted their approval. Approval is required by the end of the year to become part of the upcoming tax roll. Expanding will support transportation mobility, public safety, and corridor enhancement projects within the district. Requesting a motion to approve the resolution of the Roswell City Council consenting to the expansion of the North Fulton CID business.
Daryl, thanks very much. Alex, any input from you, sir?
Thank you, Daryl, for the introduction. I just wanted to say good evening and thank you for giving me the time to speak with you all. Tonight, as Daryl mentioned, marks the final steps of our 2025 expansion, and this really strengthens our partnership with the City of Roswell and supports continued investment in mobility and infrastructure. We appreciate your consideration and happy to answer any questions y'all may have.
Alex, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Nancy, are there any Roswell residents who'd like to speak on this item?
There are no speakers for this item.
Thank you so much. I'll bring it to Councilman Sells.
Do you mind just talk a little bit about what this does for Roswell, if you don't mind, what role it plays and how it functions, just briefly, if you don't mind?
About True North 400 in general. So True North 400 is a special purpose tax district that advances infrastructure and transportation projects. In the previous slides, there was it showed the blue outline of the district. We are able to spend our dollars within that specific district. We are not able to spend dollars outside, and we are funded from voluntary commercial property taxes that property owners put on themselves to pay into our district to get beautification, transportation improvements, and so on and so forth. That answers your question.
Right. So it's a community effort of businesses specifically pooling their resources to improve the business opportunities in essence, the blue, right? That's what this is.
Exactly.
And how does that play out? What kind of investments do you guys make? Can you just speak briefly to those kinds of things, what you do with the money?
So some past examples specifically to Roswell include the Sun Valley Extension traffic study, which warranted that project, as well as the West Side Parkway Road bridge expansion. Back in the day, 2 trucks would go across that bridge and they would hit mirrors. And we were able to, expand that bridge to where, 2 UPS trucks can pass or a school bus, widen the bridge and make it safer. As well as we've helped fund some efforts for the Mansell Connector concept as well, back in, I want to say around 2010. Those are some past projects. Some current ones include the Big Creek Greenway Trail feasibility study, which is a partnership with True North 400 and the City of Roswell. We provided a $500,000 match for a grant fund to explore trail options to get to Big Creek Greenway near the Mansell Road area. And that would not be possible without the prior expansions that you all approved in the past. We're also doing a bus shelter on Holcomb Bridge Road in Georgia 400 that we're working on currently with staff, as well as coordinating with MARTA on station area planning that is proposed at Holcomb Bridge in Georgia 400. So it's really important that there's east to west connectivity getting to and from the MARTA stations going to both sides of the corridor. So those are just a couple examples.
So in essence, just as we did with the hotel, right, and the thing that we created, we're trying to create opportunities, and this is another example where we can bring dollars to bear on a project and improve the probability that A, it gets completed, and B, that it's successful. And this is along those lines. Is that fair, Daryl?
That is fair. Or excuse me, sorry.
That's correct.
Thanks, Alan. Council, any other thoughts, comments, or questions? And this specific is, there is no guarantee of promises of money made, but this is the expansion of the district, the logical concourse, as you mentioned by some of the previous illustrations, where the businesses get together as congregated through the CID, and they make decisions to invest primarily in corridor projects that enhance the businesses in that area.
Correct. And also want to mention one last thing, that from 2022 to today, we have gone from 16 to 21% of our composition being within the city of Roswell. So we have made some great progress expanding the district here in the city.
I know Alpharetta has been incredibly satisfied with True North, and so it's been our mission to continue to expand our footprint with the True North CID, because it's been very successful for Alpharetta.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you got jobs you do. All right, being there are no other thoughts, comments, or questions, do I have a motion? Councilmember Worthland? Sorry.
Motion to approve a resolution of the City of Roswell City Council consenting to the expansion of the North Fulton Community Improvement District, DBA True North 400.
Thank you, Councilmember Worthland. Is there a second to Councilmember Worthland's motion? Seconded by Councilmember Sells. All those in favor of the motion as stated by Councilmember Worthland and seconded by Councilmember Sells, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 4-0 and unanimous and passes. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Darrell. Thank you, Alex. Well done.
Much.
And Mr. Johnson, Councilmember Johnson, you're welcome back, sir. We need you for this last item. All right, City Clerk Nancy Long, I think this is item 6. Would you please read the
Yes.
last item on the regular agenda?
Yes, this is approval to perform right-of-way acquisition services and to accept right-of-way options for the Big Creek Parkway Phase 2 T-Splosh project in an amount not to exceed $21,600,000, presented by Greg Nicholas, Interim Director of Transportation.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Welcome, Greg.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Excited to be here tonight for this major milestone for the Big Creek Parkway project. Let's see. So the Big Creek Parkway Phase 2 project will construct a new location roadway, which will also include bicycle and pedestrian features between Warsaw Road and Old Alabama Road, including a bridge over Georgia 400. The alignment of Phase 2, as you may recall, was reverted. We reverted back to the original alignment under the guidance of this administration in December 2023. Since that time, we've worked through the preliminary plans, and we are at the right-of-way acquisition phase. There are approximately 46 parcels in this project that are currently being impacted, where the City of Roswell will need to either acquire right-of-way, permanent or temporary easement, or driveway easement. Just a quick overview of the project. So in yellow, Phase 1, that is currently in construction right now with an anticipated completion time of spring of 2026. The blue line that you see connecting Warsaw Road to Old Alabama, that is Phase 2, and that is what we are seeking approval to move forward with right-of-way acquisition on. So staff's recommendation, we are requesting blanket approval on all right-of-way services in order to accept all signed options and to expedite the process for this project. This is the department's standard procedure for right-of-way acquisition, and it's been used on multiple transportation projects with great success. The amount is $21.6 million, not to exceed, and that is based on appraisals and cost estimates and the fair market value for the land and the surrounding area. That also includes a contingency. That will entertain a motion.
Yeah, I'll just add some additional notes here, Greg, is that obviously Big Creek Parkway, Phase 1, Phase 2 is a transformational east-west connector to ease congestion on Holcomb Bridge. We believe that it will offload between 10,000 to 12,000 cars conservatively off of 92 or 140, i.e. Holcomb Bridge. This project was voted on in T-Splosh 1 by the residents in 2016. It is T-Splosh funding, and it has been designed it was original design that was submitted in 2016 to you and us as voters. Unfortunately, in 2019, the previous mayor and council changed the design from what you and I voted on in 2016. And the previous mayor and council gave $15 million to the state of Georgia And ironically, Big Creek Parkway, neither Phase 1, Phase 2, or any of it was ever built when we came into office here. And this mayor and council voted unanimously to return the project to the will of the voters, and we returned it back to the design that was submitted to the voters. We also got that $15 million back from GDOT. We also secured an additional $16.5 million from GDOT to build the bridge over 400, which is a dramatic savings because when this project was originally funded in 2016, it was a $40 million project. Since it was never executed, today, conservatively, it's an $87 million project. Phase 1, as stated before, is underway. We believe that completion will be done in February of 2026. It'll be something to celebrate for the new mayor and council as Phase 1 of the Big Creek Parkway will be done. We believe that that will ease congestion at Holcomb Bridge and Warsaw roads, and also there'll be an intersection adding dual left turn lanes on 3 of the 4 intersection approaches and widening Warsaw Road from 2 to 4 lanes north of Bainbridge Road. The project obviously includes multi-use paths, i.e. sidewalks, and an 8-foot multi-use path along Warsaw Road. Phase 2 is scheduled to begin next year. We have encumbered the money from T-Splosh 2. We have found the $87 million to make this happen. And it'll create a route from Warsaw Road east over Georgia 400 and then to Holcomb Bridge Road with GDOT to build the bridge. I'll ask Roswell residents to stay engaged and hold all of us accountable to building Big Creek Parkway according to the design that we, the residents, voted on in 2016. I think it's a remarkable achievement by this city staff, Mr. Knighton, and your team, and by all of these elected officials, the city council, that they had made this happen. I can't thank you guys enough for making Big Creek Parkway a reality. Thank you, Greg, for your presentation. Nancy, do we have some Roswell residents that'd like to speak on this item?
We have one public speaker, Jason Yell.
Thank you so much. Nancy, welcome, Jason.
Well, without the BRT station or the express lane ramps going onto it, it's a road to nowhere. It is a roundabout way to get across. Without the BRT station and the express lane ramps there, they are now going directly onto Holcomb Bridge Road. It completely defeats the purpose of Big Creek Parkway. It's not going to alleviate traffic because it's a road to nowhere. Oh, you think that's funny, David? Oh, and you wonder why you didn't get reelected. I didn't spend any money. That's a big difference between us.
I'll ask both people just to keep the comments germane to the item at hand, please. Thanks.
So without the BRT station and the express lane ramps going on it has no purpose. If the purpose is to alleviate traffic on Holcomb Bridge Road, this doesn't do it. This $21 million, this is just for right-of-way acquisition. What is the budget for wetland credits? Because you're going through the wetlands with this road. They're going to be a big number. Has that been contemplated? Not to mention the cost of construction going through the wetlands. You're probably going to be putting everything on piles. This is a bad project. It's a waste of money. $86 million. Is that what you said this is up to? And it's coming out of now T-Splosh 2? This thing, took up the bulk of the T-Splosh 1 money. And now it's taking a big bite out of T-Splosh 2. Again, bad planning, bad design, and a waste of money. And it's a shame. That's all I got to say about it.
Thank you, Mr. Yao. Appreciate that very much. Greg, by the way, it's $87 million is what the current cost off. It was $40 million when you and I as voters voted for this in 2016. So this is not really a deliberation for the mayor and council philosophically to have a great debate over because the voters clearly wanted this project to happen. And you just elucidate on the wetland credits and on the fact that we went from 40 to 87. Just a quick elucidation on any items reference to where the project is currently considering all items related to the wetlands as we currently understand it.
Yeah, that is all part of, that would be all part of our permitting. That's all part of our contingency calculation that's baked into that $87 million.
Thanks, Greg. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, thank you very much. I'll bring it back to council for any additional thoughts, comments, or questions on the matter at hand. Councilor Johnson?
Yeah, as someone who lives on the east side of Roswell, where our next mayor lives, she lives 10 houses from me, I think, give or take a couple. You turn right at 8 a.m. onto from Roxbury Drive onto Old Alabama Road. You are stuck on Old Alabama Road for 10 to 15 minutes before you get to Holcomb Bridge Road. And then you get to make a right onto Holcomb Bridge Road, and you're stuck to 10 to 15 minutes before you either want to turn left or right onto Georgia 400, or, in my case, for the last 2 years, continue straight and come and turn left on Warsaw Road, and then go all the way here to City Hall. So to say it won't alleviate traffic, I think is one of the most insane comments I've ever heard in my last 2 years, and I've heard a lot over the last 2 years. You can't fix stupid, you can just sedate it. But you can't vote it out, that's what happened to you, David.
Jim, if Mr. Yao cannot restrain himself, would you please ask him to leave, or take a time out if he just can't control himself, please, sir?
Holcomb Bridge Road in Georgia 400 is the largest east-west connection north of 285 in this state. 75,000 cars a day go on it. It will be redesigned as part of the Georgia 400 expansion and multi-use, or the HOV lanes. And the building this road, which I would hope the next mayor and council would maybe consider looking into additional exits, but the clock's ticking on that for them. Building this road will be a massive economic development project for the east side of Roswell. It will bring people from the west to the east who don't come there now. It will significantly cut down on traffic. It will significantly cut down on stress of the everyday person who just wants to get in their car and go to work. And I'll let my other colleagues make comments if they want to, but I cannot wait to make a motion. And this is my final council meeting, and when I ran 2 years ago, I really wanted to get two things done. I wanted to build sidewalks in our neighborhood, future mayor, and we have a federal grant for that. And I wanted to get this project moving forward. We're doing that. And so I'm very, very happy to make a motion on this project when the time comes.
Yeah, this is a great project for the east side. It's a great project for the city of Roswell. And the voters knew it in 2016. As a perfect example, guys, as you well know, and not that anybody's asking for any 2 cents from me, but it takes real political will and courage to move forward on projects, even for projects that are voted on by voters. And as example, this was voted on in 2016 and had a $40 million price tag. And then you can see it never got executed until we came into office. So things are hard to do. It takes political will. It takes a lot of work, and it takes a great staff, city staff, to make things happen. And so well done, guys, and proud of you on this. Any other thoughts, comments from council? Yeah, it seems like you're bidding adieu, but it's a big deal. It's a gigantic piece. Big Creek Parkway is something everybody's worked long and hard on. I'm seeing you out there. Where's Sharon? She gone? There she is. Greg, Brian, team, Jeff, Don, Randy. Bill's off tonight.
He's in the back.
Snuck back. Welcome, Bill. Yeah, whole team, everybody there. Well done, guys. Lots of stuff to this. Very well done. All right, Councilmember Johnson, would you like to make a motion, sir?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. And Mr. Mayor, it's been a pleasure to serve with you for the last 2 years, and to my other colleagues, thank you so much. This is a motion for approval to perform right-of-way acquisition services and to accept right-of-way options for the Big Creek Parkway Phase 2 T-Splosh project in an amount not to exceed $21,600,000.
Thank you, Councilmember Johnson. Is there a second to the motion stated by Councilmember Johnson? Seconded by Councilmember Sells. Thank you. All to understand the motion as stated by Councilmember Johnson. If you're in favor of approving it, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 5-0 and unanimous, and the motion passes. Thank you very much. Last item on, yeah, that one does deserve some love. The last item on the agenda is the city attorney's report. Chief Legal Officer and City Attorney David Davidson, would you please read the item?
I do not have a recommendation for closure at this time.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate you all being here. Appreciate you being part of the process. Yes, ma'am. Councilor Hall.
I would just like to thank Councilmember David Johnson for his commitment for the last 2 years. I have never, this council, I had 2 years prior to this council, and it was a shit show. I mean, a real shit show. And I mean, I just cannot thank you, Sarah, Will, Alan, and Lee, and under Mayor's leadership of what we've accomplished. And thank you so much. And I just hope that we can keep this decorum going forward and not go back to the circus that existed prior to 4 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you very much. Any love for Will? I mean, he's. Oh, you got one? Okay, good. All right, good. So you got another one. Thank you, Christine. Thank you for saying it. Yeah, David, great job. No, you didn't get reelected, but you served the people well, and I think the people will come to appreciate you over time, brother. Yeah. Yeah, you're looking forward to golfing. All right, being that there are no other items, this mayor and council meeting of Monday, December 8th, 2025 is adjourned. Y'all have a great evening. Thank you. All right.